Hello everyone, Leonardo Cornejo here. As I mentioned before, I'm an author. And I decided to do something against my own habits and release these videos in my personal YouTube channel instead of using the main YouTube channel which I use to release videos related to other things. And I'm going to turn this personal account into basically a business channel. And not a business channel in the sense of speaking of business, but selling my stuff, of shilling the fuck out of it. Because I am tired knowing I got some really, really nice stuff and nobody's buying it. So, today I'm going to talk about my debut novel, my very first novel, which was released in 2018, Still and Flame, the first book in the Guilds of Outland series. What can I say? I mean, you you already saw the cover. I don't have a printed edition right now. I don't buy print books. I mean, I rarely, if ever, buy print editions if I can get the digital ones. So I don't have it for you right now. Well, the thing is, this book, this novel, my very first project was a dream since, the idea came in 2013, 2013, and I'm basically pushing for it now because it took me a while to get it released. The idea came to me in a dream. I was playing video games. I was actually playing The Witcher and reading some manga, and I woke up with this idea of this cute tiny wolf girl and a swordsman with long hair. It's funny because that's basically how it came to be. It was inspired mostly by The Witcher and a very specific manga which I might not be able to mention because it is not safe for work. With that said, this is a safe for work project. I kept it 100% PG-13 because I didn't feel comfortable writing something more mature, so to speak, more explicit. The story revolves around these two officers from a guild called Auxiliary. Their guild has the purpose of working as adventurers, part police officers, and part mercenaries. They get paid for helping people, basically, with missions and tasks they need to have completed. For example, I don't know, your cat is missing. You call the auxiliary to deal with it. You're trying to hunt a criminal down. You go to the auxiliary to deal with it. There is a war. You hire them if that doesn't mean a problem to their guild. And these two officers, Seneto Vantua and Rua the Red, are basically, one is a experienced officer who got betrayed in the past and has bitter memories about it, and he needs a new assistant because he doesn't trust anyone, and his previous assistant literally backstabbed him. That's basically his backstory. Much back, by the way. And Andrew the Red is a young rookie officer who just got joined the guild and is assigned to him as his companion. She's a huntress from a well-reputed Worldbuilding clan, and she has the goal of becoming the best assistant in the guild, following the footsteps of her father. I must admit, she doesn't. You don't really get to see much of it, but she has quite a fine plot and an excellent backstory. I couldn't help making the joke. I mean, mm, I couldn't help it. they they join. They basically the story starts with her joining the guild, and they're basically their first missions all the way through until they reach a really large scale mission. They are sent to deal with a war, to deal with a conspiracy which is tied to that war, and they start uncovering some really grim secrets, really twisted secrets. I don't use the term dark because this is far from a dark story. I mean, it is all about hope, about loyalty, about basically meritocracy, succeeding, working hard as a team. All that stuff some kinds of people don't like. The kind of people who I don't even want them to read my stuff anyway. You know, the kind of people who always makes Harry Potter references in relation to politics. Fucktards. Oh, I'm damaging my image. Fuck it. I don't want to spoil the story, but so I can tell you more. And I don't want to spoil it because some people really take spoilers negatively and they turn away from the story if you do it. Otherwise, I will talk about it all. I mean, there are really exciting moments like beating the crap out of a large insect. Well, she's not doing it at all alone, and she's not really beating the crap out of it, but they together facing this large insect, and she basically defeats it with her own punches. She's she's superhuman since she's not a normal human. She's part of the world clan, and therefore they have a superhuman strength. Basically, because magic. You know, this is a fantasy novel. This is not realistic in any way. I promise you there will be bikini armor soon, soonish. I haven't published that part yet. Currently, there are only 2 books published in the series. I will talk about the second book later. And I'm working on publishing the third book and writing the fourth. And I can guarantee you, during the third book, there is bikini armor. 100% guaranteed. Because it offends the right people. the people who should be offended. Mm, what I can tell you about the story? I mean, is there something I can tell you? Well, I can tell you what you will find in it. You will find a mostly character-driven narrative. If you like characters to be the central focus of the story, that's something you will find here. It's guaranteed to be there. Um, what else? Well, lots of beautiful female characters for the audience to fall in love with. Really, I'm not joking. One of the reasons I started writing this is because, well, after having that dream, I thought, hey, this girl is cute. This wolf girl is cute. I want to write a story about her and make people fall in love with her. So I did. So there are lots of characters like that. For the girls, there are male characters too, and for, well, anyone who fancies men, there are male characters too who are, the vision and archetype. There is one character in particular who is basically the vision and archetype in itself, and that's pretty much all he's supposed to be. Basically, vision and Gandalf. That sounds worse than I imagined when I was thinking of it. Well, there is a lot of action. I mean, well, there are some chapters which go slow and they have mostly conversation, plot development, but there is a lot of action in the basically boss battle chapters. This is basically a lit RPG novel. I mean, it is not on the title, but it is extremely inspired in RPGs, and it even has certain gameplay mechanics integrated to the plot. Certain weapons, elements, potion making, weapon crafting, that stuff which you find in RPGs. It is part of this novel. I basically write mostly what you could call lead RPG or game lead. Most of my books have are designed to eventually get adapted into a video game, so they have gameplay elements. That's something you will find it in this book. Even special skills, transformation skills, like in Final Fantasy IX, the trans skill, they transform. Some characters have that ability a similar ability. It is not named as such. A similar ability in this novel series. What else I can tell you? It is not a furry novel. Before you start asking, because I already had to answer this question in the past. It is not a furry novel. It has furry characters, but it is not centered on furry. Just like V-Stars and VNA, which are two anime I really like. I mean, seriously, they are awesome. And regarding VNA, all I can say is once you meet Nasuna, you fall in love with her. She's the best idol in history, and she's fictional. Hell, why can't she be real? No, I'm joking about the later part. Well, as I was saying, there are furry characters, but it is not centered on furry. In fact, the reason there are furry characters is because I literally wanted to write a novel with a lot of monster girls, and turns out many monster girls count as furry. Especially when you follow a certain aesthetic, which is what I picked with Rua, for example. She's not human. She's a really cute wolf girl. So, it is not a furry novel, and it doesn't have that much ooh as it has awoo. I have to make the joke. I'm really really obsessed with wolf girls. I'm not kidding. Everyone who knows me knows I have this obsession, and I decided to use it for something productive. What else I can tell you? It it doesn't have the typical dark fantasy stuff. There are not many acts of betrayal, especially from the protagonists. There is no "oh, you betrayed me, motherfucker." That doesn't happen here. The amount of protagonists you have, I mean, the good guys stay good guys even if they are morally questionable sometimes. I mean, they don't switch sides to the antagonist at any point, because I found that to be overused and I'm tired of it. There is also a similar factor with basically prominent characters. Most of them don't get killed. I don't kill off important characters just like that. I avoid that because I consider it is overused, and I'm not willing to kill off a character I like. Yeah. And if they say, "Oh, but it is not realistic," I know that fucking idiot George R. R. Martin says Gandalf should have stayed dead because that's realistic, and the characters must die randomly because that's realistic. But there is a reason why he doesn't complete his novel series, and there is a reason why the show adaptation sucked. It's because of that. Well, one of the reasons. The other one is that well, he's one of those woke bastards. I mean, he supported like Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. Fucking idiot. I don't like him. But this is not about him. This is not a George R. R. Martin diss track by Leonardo Cornejo. This is about Guilds of Avalon, and specifically about Steel and Flame. Just that I had to mention it because I really don't like the motherfucker, and because I don't like the way he does things. I do the opposite. I don't kill characters. I prefer to reform villains over killing them if possible, and even incarcerate them or get them in a situation where they are no longer a threat instead of killing them. And if I kill a character, I don't have plans of showing that character again, of bringing that character again, unless there is some necromancy involved. Yay, fantasy! Another advantage is that it allows for necromancy, and you can revive the dead. You can bring villain back from the grave. Just don't overdo it. Don't overdo it, because then you start acting like you start going down the way Toriyama did with Dragon Ball, and now Freezer has revived like what 3 times. And it starts to suck. Dragon Ball Super. It's better than GT, but it still sucks. GT was awful. What else can I offer you? There is romance, but it is not the kind of shitty YA romance. There is no love relationship drama. There is no love triangles. I mean, I fucking hate love triangles. I fucking hate cheating. So there is none of that in my works. There is no cheating. There are no love triangles because I fucking hate that kind of plot. Instead, you have romance, really functional romance. You have the couples here. Not everyone has a relationship. Not all relationships are not relevant, but the ones that are, they are functional. Because I realize that's what I like, and I think in fact most men like that. There is a reason why there is there is not much love triangle plots in things aimed at men. Harem is more common, and well, it is not very different to love triangles, if you ask me. I mean, it's the male equivalent, but still, it is not nearly as fucking toxic as love triangles, as relationship drama. But there is no harem here because, well, wolves are loyal. Wolves are loyal, and therefore there can be a harem. They are monogamous in nature. No joke. Look it up. Wolves are monogamous. So are foxes. Serial monogamy. You know what it is when you have a partner and it lasts for a while, and then don't know the partner die or something, and you replace it. But both foxes and wolves, they stay with the partner until the partner dies. That's nature. Turns out monogamy is entirely natural. Turns out the R and K theory is more true than more real than you imagine. In particular, wolves and foxes are gay reproductive species. Well, as I was saying, there are no love triangles, no relationship drama. There is romance, but it is not the center point. It is more about teamwork, cooperation, trust, loyalty. These are the themes this thing has, because that's the kind of stuff I like. I mean, if it has a message, it doesn't have to be a political message. It doesn't have to be an ideological message. But to represent the things one holds as valuable in reality. I don't like political propaganda, to be honest. I don't like political propaganda of any kind, right wing, left wing, center. In particular, I detest left wing political propaganda because at least the others try to bring some facts to the table. But I don't like political propaganda, so I try to avoid going too political with this. The first books have a small political message because I decided to throw a tiny diss at Anita Sarkeesian. She's one of the reasons I decided to write this, so I decided to honor her with a place as piece of crap she is. But other than that, there is not much politics here. And the rest of the series doesn't have politics at all. It was just something I got inspired to do, and I said, well, I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it because, well, I started writing it this way, and now I don't like it that much, but I decided to keep it. Because I am not the kind of people who scraps a project. Instead, he finds fighting it until it is ready. That's the case here. What else I can guarantee? Monsters. Lots of them. And not just monster girls. I mean, this world has moth girls. I really like them. But they just don't show up in this part of the series. This world has several types of monster girls, demons, large spiders, that kind of stuff. But I didn't include everything. It's quite a large world. There's some lore and world building, but I try to keep it relevant to the plot. No, I avoided info dumps. I used to write many info dumps in the past, and I decided to avoid them. What else? What else? Well, you have action and adventure. You have boss battles. I mean, that's probably the most lit RPG thing in my series. I decided to include certain encounters, certain fights, certain battles which count as boss battles, and they are awesome. I mean, there's this huge monster made of flesh, which is taking over an entire swamp, and it's one of the bosses, and it's a really massive rotting flesh thing, and the heroes beat the crap out of it. It's awesome. I can guarantee. They're both large scale and small scale bosses, by the way. Not all of them are giants, not all of them are enormous monsters, some are people. It draws inspiration from Japanese RPGs. In fact, there is fan service. That's something I can tell you. There is some fan service. I got the idea of including fan service while playing Hyperdimension Neptunia. I'm not kidding. I thought, well, if they can get away with it, and Neptune has similar body type to Ruwa, then I can get away with it too. And that's where it came from. There's fan service guaranteed, but it is not obstructive to the plot. It is not really central to the plot, and you won't really notice it. It draws heavy inspiration from Japanese light novels. That's something I can guarantee. You will see the inspiration. You will see the similarities to Japanese light novels. In fact, I started reading The Rising of the Shield Hero in 2020. I watched the anime before, but I started reading the novels, and when I started reading them, I was like, holy cow, this looks a lot like my novels, and I take pride in it. I didn't copy it, I didn't plagiarize it, I just wrote the kind of story I like, and turns out The Rising of the Shield Hero is a story, the kind of story I like. So I'm right there behind Aneko Yusagi. I'm right there behind the author. I'm following the footsteps of the great authors who inspired me in the past. It's a really vibrant, colorful world. It's not one of those grim, dark stories, and it doesn't have subversion of its expectations. I do subvert some tropes I fucking hate, like love triangle, relationship drama. I do subvert them, but I don't subvert expectations. In fact, I will dare say the plot is kinda it's a bit, how do I say it? A bit predictable. If you are used to light novels, this is a bit predictable. But predictable in the nice way, the tasty way, the kind of way you enjoy. It is complicated, I will say, because I am bad at explaining things. I am bad at showing them without a story, and I don't want to. I don't want to throw spoilers. I don't want to tell anyone how the plot. So I'm trying to avoid the spoilers. What else I can tell you you will find? A war. There is a war in the plot. It's awesome. It's awesome! No, really, it is awesome. Lots of cute characters. Especially female characters, but I think the male characters might be cute too. I might not notice it because, well, I'm a guy and I don't notice when males are cute. I notice when they're handsome, but not when they're cute. And well, there are lots of places to explore. Most of the plot is all about exploring places, about adventure, about knowing this big world. Some of the characters might be well experienced in this world, but but we are not, and we explore it with them. Some of them might know a bit more about it, but this is an adventure story, an action and adventure story with magic, steampunk elements. That's something I decided to include. Well, more like steampunk and magic elements. Not everything is steam based. And that allows for really great technological leaps. I mean, the first book doesn't present that many, but from the second book onwards, you can see really impressive technology, spaceships, firearms, all that stuff. There's a character in the first book who is basically a gun specialist. I mean, he's armed with a revolver, and that's awesome. I mean, I really like guns, especially antique ones, muskets, revolvers, stuff like that. Magic, lots of it. I mean, most of the characters use magic, and it is really exciting to see it. But I have been spending 25 minutes already telling you about it. So now, you can follow the link below. It's the Amazon link. Unfortunately, I don't have much choice regarding who I publish with at the moment because I don't have money. You can help me change that. Make a lot more money. Grow. Checking the link below and buying it. That's it for today. Thank you in advance.